Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another week of Metaworld News. This is going to be our highlights for the week ending the 2nd of September. Would you believe it? Year is 2018, just in case there was any doubt on that front. But yes, we are not quite into autumn yet, and in fact, it feels rather gorgeously late summer here, but I'm sure that's not going to last for long. Time to hunker down, and when you need to hunker down, where else do you go? When you don't want to go out to the real world, you go to the virtual world.
All
Of
right.
course, don't you? Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So expect us here in the Northern Hemisphere to be winding up a bit as opposed to winding down a bit in the coming months. Anyway, you can follow me, myself, at Twitter, twitter.com/ Malburns. That's Malburns, but down as all one word. And there's a second feed you can also follow, which is twitter.com/ Metaworld News, all one word, just like this show. And the links you'll find in MetaWorld News' feed are more to do with actual social virtual worlds and things happening in it and places to go and stuff like that, whereas my general feed is much more of an overview of interfacing tech. Okay, so what are the highlights, you might well wondering? Um, well, I'm going to give it a plug simply because I can. The new world from Philip Rosedale, High Fidelity, is doing load tests at the moment. We had one not so long ago, which I think it was certainly compared with any other virtual world you've been in, managed to get an awful lot of people in one place at one time. It was somewhere between I think it's about 270 avatars all in one space at one time, which is pretty good going without actually sharding. Anyway, this event is now going to be on the first Friday of every month. And it's in the high fidelity platform, of course. It doesn't matter whether you're in a headset or whether you're viewing it on a 2D, screen or whatever. It's all good for the load testing, and it's at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Regular event on the first Friday of every month. So obviously, this coming week on Friday will be another one. So do help the guys at Five Fidelity out by taking part. Who knows? You may just be the one extra number involved that gets them to crash. Now, wouldn't that be something you can tell everybody? Yeah,
Mm.
I was number 501 and I crashed them.
I put them
Yay!
over the edge.
Yes, exactly. I'm not actually sure it quite works like that, but anyway, that's on Friday, so a bit of a plug for them. Okay, getting round to actual clips and stuff.
Let's say, Mal.
Voices.
Mal,
Sorry.
sorry to interrupt. I just wondered if you want to check on your eye line. It looks like you're looking off to the side.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a
Oh,
look at you then. I think I'm. No, I'm not looking at you either, am I? I'll have a look at
there
myself.
we
How about
are.
that?
Thank you so much.
Okay, nothing like looking in a mirror that doesn't exist.
Yep.
In fact, we do have virtual mirrors now, but I don't know how they're not genuine. They're a rigged. It's a trick, you
Yeah.
know. Right. Voicesvr.com. Podcasts throughout the week. 689 this week had. Oh, God, I've got to pronounce this. Ethnomusicology and new music rituals in VR. Yes, all about sound of the musical kind and ethnomusical. That's a new one on me. I presume it me. Well, never mind. Anyway, voicesvr.com if you want to listen to that or read the blurb. Hands on. Okay, Cyber Shoes aim to deliver a VR treadmill experience at lower cost and space. We actually mentioned that last week, so I shall leave that for now. And I think I mentioned this last week, can't be sure. Women in VR meetup, the European edition. This is actually using AltSpace VR's platform, and the link here says account.altvr.com, which I guess is a bona fide web page if you want to find out about more about the Women in VR meetup over there. So, without further ado, moving through the week here, get us up to date. Um, More news from Mozilla's VR hubs. Mozilla's VR hubs are web pages that Mozilla, who make Firefox and various other web things. They launched their virtual reality app called Hubs, and it's an experiment in web VR. In other words, all you need to do is go to a web page, and you get a basic 3D environment, and you can customize it one for yourself, and invite friends to come and join you and sit down with you, kind of thing. A bit like almost every other virtual world under the sun. Here's your house. Invite your friends around. Um, VR hubs they're called. There've been a lot of updates. I think it was last week there were some updates, but um, the 3D environments are fully cross-platform now, and you can now share web pages, clipboard, and uploaded content direct from your own hard disk into the space with other people. Um, Sounds altogether familiar, although I must say Mozilla's take on this is a wee bit different from others. I was sort of like Mozilla's thing to um, what do we call it? The one I just mentioned, old space, isn't it? Anyway, that's available on the web. So if you want to read an article about it, go to uploadvr.com. That's uploadvr.com. And I believe the article is also on VentureBeat as well. Right, virtual reality gets a degree as London University launches a specialised course. The London College of Communication is set to teach students all about the wonderful world of VR. They're just round the corner here. Maybe I'll pretend I'm a student again. I don't know whether I could get away with it. Uploadvr.com yet again has an article all about this, and well, it's an MA virtual reality degree, and it kicks off in the 2018-2019 academic year, which, for those of you who don't know, is now. Why'd I have to put it that way when it's now? Yeah, so I guess good to see it coming on the curriculum. You can get to. I mean, I don't know if I was just leaving school again. I wouldn't mind going to London University to get a degree in VR. Probably be redundant by the time I've done the 3 years or whatever, but there you go. Right, moving on. Rotovr.com. VR motion simulator Feel 3. But not Feel Free, FREE. No, it's Feel 3, THREE. It's a motion simulator and it's hitting Kickstarter fully funded. Hang on, let me start this again. It went on Kickstarter and it managed to get fully funded in under 24 hours. So no sooner had they announced it being a Kickstarter than they announced it ready to go, kind of thing. It's a 3D OF motion simulator for VR. Vision is providing a relatively low cost solution amongst a sea of expensive motion platforms. And they were seeking 50,000 UK pound funding, and they went from zero to well over that within 24 hours. So I think their pitch was kind of very convincing. We'll have to see what happens. We're good to see. People can raise that kind of money very quickly. Right, Magic Leap, which finally arrived, of course. Magic Leap and a UK startup are in talks for augmented reality surgery technology. This is way out of the public realm. You can read about it at virtualrealitytimes, or one word.com. But basically, Magic Leap have made a deal with a startup in the UK here, to develop the Magic Leap applications, augmented reality applications for surgery in hospitals, I guess, although possibly other places where they do surgery, but I tend to think of that as hospitals. Read about that. VR Scout, pardon me, frog in the throat, vrscout.com. Fragment VR opens a window to reality within the virtual world. Um, this is so funny, isn't it? The whole pitch about virtual reality being somewhere you can go to enhance, it's a tool that enhances the real world. So, some people now consider it so ubiquitous that they're devising ways for you to look back at the real world from inside virtual reality. Duh. Is there any point? Why not just take the headset off? Um, maybe I'm wrong there because obviously, um, just as you could you could train to be a surgeon in the virtual reality surgery, you might, as a surgeon, need to go into virtual reality to do the op, but also somehow have an output into a remote location in the real world. It's all going to one day it will all be so mixed up you won't be able to tell the difference, except probably the color of the light on on your display. But anyway, it just sounds funny that you would go into virtual reality to go back to the real world. It just confuses the issue, doesn't it? Read all about it at vrscout.com. Back on the Voices of VR, we have an interesting one, a survey of harassment in VR. The social experience of 600 plus regular virtual reality users about virtual harassment. Subtitle: My friends don't do that sort of thing. Like hell, they don't. They just don't admit it. Admit what? I'm not quite sure. But this is voicesvr.com again, and the discussion is with a lady called Jessica Outlaw, who's quite well known. She's the one who released the survey of using 600 regular virtuality users. I haven't got the link for it, but RyanSchultz.com also had a little sort of survey on favorite virtual worlds. The reason I didn't link to it directly is because although the results of the survey are fine, it was very unclear how many participants there were in the survey. For all I could tell, there were only three. Second Life came out as the first place to hang out, but oddly enough, in second place was it. It wasn't OpenSim specifically, but if you add up things like OpenSim and the various other OpenSim style platforms together, then that did actually come in second place. And but but the popularity is what you sort of might expect, followed by Sansar, followed by Sciencebase, followed by High Fidelity, or some such. Surveys are always interesting, but statistics can be interpreted lots of different ways. And I think this one, for example, Jessica Outlaw did 600 is a reasonable amount of people to be getting a broad cross section in a survey. But I would say anything less than 500 as a rule is not really what I would call the survey to be really taken note of. Anyway, moving on, but back to Mozilla's hubs again. They one day later, rotovr.com reports that the hubs have even got more useful, this time with instant media and 3D model imports. Is there anything Mozilla's hubs don't have at the moment? We'll have to see. Um, uh, all drag and dropish, really. What is wonderful, of course, is that you can go to the equivalent of I don't think it is Google Warehouse anymore, but those open sites with models and stuff, and you can just drag them into your room space and fiddle around with them as best you can. It's the good old type of virtual world we all started with, really. All right, moving on here. The Rain Dance Film Festival. This happens this month, later in 26th of September to be precise, and it goes on until the 7th of October. Um, Amongst the films, or what you might call films, being shown are 33 specifically VR experiences. So the Raindance Film Festival here is embracing VR in no uncertain terms. I don't know how many films they actually show. It's probably quite a lot, but when you consider 33 of these experiences, they insist on calling them, of virtuality, it's all adding up. I suspect many of them will be glorified 360, videos with some kind of narrative, but who knows? Who knows? I might even find an excuse to drop down there. Right, uploadvr.com and a duplicated adventure beat, I gather. Jaunt, right? Yes, another company made its name as a creator of 360-degree videos and cinematic VR. They're actually under new management, and they've shifted their focus to supplying mixed reality technology to people, in other words, hardware. Drones have actually shown off new augmented reality 360-degree full body selfies. Um, from what I can see from the photo here, the kit is presumably not something you're going to have in your own room, but it's actually not too elaborate. It's the sort of thing where I can do, just like you go to a copy shop to get photocopies done. I can imagine somebody having a little corner where you can just stand on the circle and get a 360-degree photographic selfie of you, self-made. And presumably, if that can be made into a mesh, it will be usable not just in augmented reality, but in virtual reality too. Because once you have a 3D full body selfie, not an avatar. Well, it's an avatar, quite frankly, but it's a full body selfie and it's photographic, of course. Once you got it, haven't you? The future is wide open, to paraphrase some song, I forget which. Right, voicesvr.com yet again. 691, using virtual reality to cultivate culture against sexual assault. Now, go figure on this one. Especially difficult when this is actually an audio podcast. Um, a company called Vantage Point is creating virtual reality training experiences in order to cultivate the skills to break the stigma around sexual assault and overcome bystander effect. Now, I haven't listened to this particular edition, so, but if you think that is of interest, which maybe it should be, check it out. Virtual reality is not the escape you think it is. Ah, well, this is the thoughts of a chap called Nate Goldman writing at medium.com. medium.com. I guess you'd probably look this up by its title. Virtual reality is not the escape you think it is. Um, it's not just about virtual reality, it's about all our smart toys and everything else too. And it's like the increasing thoughts we have about, you fill your home with so-called smart things, and the more you've got, the dumber each of them appears to be. They don't work with each other, and they're all, just pretending to be smart rather than being smart. And the impression here was that all the tools of living virtually are not really kind of up to it. Anyway, interesting read, I must say. VR headsets need to become easier and quicker to use. Now, uh, I'm uh, I'm dumbfounded. I who would ever have thought such a thing? You know, headsets need to become easier and quicker to use. Oh, what's wrong with them at the moment? They're quick enough, aren't they? And they're easy, and they're small enough. Well, this post, uploadvr.com, once again, stating the obvious, I think, but it's always worth posting this stuff because there is a message in there somewhere that hopefully people are listening to. Get them smaller. We don't want headsets. We want pairs of glasses, to be honest, or contact lenses. Right, loving the magic leap? Well, a veteran virtual world VR developer explains why. This is a post at Hamlet Orr's blog, New World Notes. I'm just going to open that quickly. It was, I think this might be the last one in this feed. Oh, come on, Microsoft. It's called Open Page. Can we have a bit of it, please? No, apparently we can't. Okay, there we are. Actually, this site always takes a while to load. I think it's crammed with about 500 invisible adverts. Right, who's that? Right, Dulce Bayerga is the CEO of River Studios. Their clients include people like Bjork, the musician, and um, also Dulce is in as an avatar, but not read it out in SL2. Um, Basically, she's praising the way WebXR, which is a sort of similar thing to WebVR, I guess, works extremely well in a browser they brought out called Helio, which is like, I guess, your Firefox or your Chrome for virtual web worlds. Can we say it that way? I don't know. Um, And she's absolutely sort of raving about it, performance-wise. And it is noting. I also noted during the week that somebody actually did a tear down of the Magic Leap. In other words, we've seen photos of the glasses and developers have them, but somebody's actually sort of taken it apart, as these, tech reports occasionally do. And there is actually much more inside it than anybody realized. And, that people have finally actually examined all the components and figured that, there is an awful lot of stuff jammed into that pair of glasses, much more than anybody realized on the surface. So, anyway, if you're keen on what's happening with Magic Leap, possibly check that one out. And I'm just flipping my flip page, my flipboard, and that's it. That's it for the. That was actually the highlights of the Twitter slash Malbones feed. Right, I'm just going to move over here to Metaworld, which is the feed for this program. Um, RyanSchultz.com this morning, he had a brief introduction to something called Hypatia, which is another social VR platform from a company called Time Fire VR. It's free on both Steam and Oculus Home. As far as I know, it's not on Oculus Go or any more accessible things. Um, so, little review there. The photo looks quite nice, I must admit. So it might be a fake because the photo really looks like an actual world photo with a bit of colour splashed on it, but I may be wrong. The changing face of OpenSim metaverse after InWorld's closed. This is 5 days ago. She's on Google Plus and around and about a bit. Tala Adam, her name is. She has a blog called Metaverse Traveler blogspot.com. So that's metaverse, which Metaverse dash traveler, and that is spelled Traveler, right? Blogspot.com. Traveler being one of those words that I think some people spell with just one L. So no spaces in that. Metaverse hyphen traveler.blogspot.com. And nice little overview she's written up there. Um, Upload VR also had a post, actually, it's about 5 days ago on that Hypatia um, um, platform that I just mentioned. Where are we? Ryan Schultz, yeah. His introduction was only posted a couple of hours ago, but the post all about it was 5 days ago at uploadvr.com. And yeah, 5 days, so 4 days ago. I think it opened on Wednesday, and I must say the photo on the VR Upload VR site is actually rather more attractive. Um, yeah, some photos in our feed from high fidelity meetups and stuff like that. Um, and actually, not. Oh, yeah, it's all in the wrong order as usual. Edward Tarber has a post a little bit earlier today about Cyber Lounge. Um, oh yeah, 2 days ago, something called Lab Podcast, episode 23. Um, you actually have to get to this at medium.com again. Scott Elchison, episode 23, The State of VR versus AR, and that features Tony Parisi, who, of course, well, he's involved with everything all over the place, to be frank, including Unity now and was with High Fidelity for a while. But he is actually the creator of the original virtual reality modeling language, VRML, back in the day, almost as old as HTML. And if you don't know what that is, I don't know why you're listening to this program. Right, cashing out High Fidelity a week ago. Well, we covered this before. High Fidelity now allows you to exchange your virtual currency on its blockchain and everything else into real world money, pinned to the American dollar and payable out via PayPal. And apparently, it's permanently pinned. One Hang on, let me get this right. Yeah, 100 high fidelity coin is equal to 1 United States dollar in terms of actual value, and it's for economic reasons or something. It doesn't fluctuate. It just the idea is it's permanently synced to the US dollar for some reason. I don't understand all this money talk. You'll have to read it for yourself. Right, this Second Life avatar creator is selling virtual stretch marks, cellulite, and boob veins. Right, this is a post, quite an interesting one at motherboard.vice.com, written by somebody called Samantha Cole. Some of the Second Life blogs have mentioned this too, but I think it's interesting because it's a kind of realism. It seems that I don't know, I've wandering around Second Life, even open sim, all these places. Do we idolize our body, go choose a nice skin and a look, that's maybe a bit more palatable than what we see in the mirror every morning, So not everybody is a super dude model for something when you're walking down
That's
the street.
actually a question.
Well, yeah, well, no,
I think that's state of the art.
well, the thing here is that in Second Life, I can't remember her name. Izzy Burson, this is off. She's offering avatar enhancements that do things like add stretch marks and flab and imperfections to the so-called perfect avatars, and they're becoming extremely popular. People are actually seeking out this imperfect realism. I mean, it's not imperfect in any real sense at all, but it's considered to be imperfection because it's not the perfect ideal. And in fact, people actually do want stretch marks on their skin. And I suppose I'm probably a good example of this because unlike the avatar that's actually reading the news to you now, my preferred avatar in virtual worlds is one that looks my actual age, which ain't no spring chicken. Quack, quack. Anyway, so I just think that this post was interesting because A, it was a motherboard as opposed to a regular Second Life blog, but also, is this a sign of the times? People are getting fed up with the idealized bodies that the avatars are being promoted as. Who knows? Okay. Blah, 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 blah. That seems to be it. More about Mozilla Hubs, which we already covered on the other feed. And yep. So not a vast amount of other news there. Right, let me check out my posts here. Any last minute ones? No, just a few videos. Um, all right, good. There are, if you have an account with Google Plus, it's always worth checking out the communities there. There are many communities based on Second Life and OpenSim, and indeed other social virtual world platforms. And the same is true of Discord. If you have an account with Discord, you're probably aware that as well as your friends, you can also communicate with lots of big communities with their own servers, and most of the big virtual worlds have either a user-led one or even a formal one led by the company running it. And I, in fact, host one called Hypergrid Adventurers and Creators, which is solely based on the idea of communications across the hypergrid. In other words, not any particular virtual world, but the system that supposedly connects them all together. Right, Alice. Okay, I'm just gonna have a quickie peek because I can't resist peeking into the other feed to see if there's anything really important popping up. Um, how to spend it .ft.com. Part of Financial Times by the look of it. I think this is a paywall thing. A powerful pioneering cable-free VR unit. They have a little bit about that, and they reckon it might help with your Christmas gift problems. No mention of the price, oddly enough. Right. CGI article on CGI models. This is in the Sun newspaper, believe it or not, thesun.co.uk. Not exactly the world's most prestigious newspaper, but meet the CGI models who are putting Kim Kardashian out of a job. And it's true. It's true. There's CGI. It's less virtuality than it is CGI modeling, but they're coming together because with uh, everything from Nvidia's new graphics cards through to Unity as a production platform and stuff. You can get the kind of realism, including the imperfect realism that you want. And you can make models that would be good enough for CGI in movies, for yourself and put them in a virtual world if you want. It's not commonplace yet, but those technologies are all merging together one way or another. Convergence theory it is. Yes. Rift and Windows VR squeezed market share from 5 in the latest Steam survey. Um, Bit off centre that one. Um, Okay, robreport.com. That's ROBB and then report, but all one word. On the art of virtuality, it's a look at the way artists and creators are using virtuality. And oh, this is a lovely one. It's more than 52 minutes ago. Oh no, this is okay. This is as good as any. A site called theawesomer.com has got an article about this. I did actually post a video much earlier in the week, so it's not this morning. Um, theawesomer.com. So TheAwesomer.com. Um, Anna Dream Brush, VR painter. She's a French woman called Anna Dream, and I posted. I don't know, it's on any of my public channels. It might have been on Facebook. A video in the week, and they've done a remarkable filming job because they've actually caught her real life person in her headset, and they've also filmed her working in Tilt Brush at the same time. And it's not like a split screen; it's a unified screen. And she's basically recreating Liberty Leading the People, which is a painting at the Louvre in Paris. But while she was doing it, she was performing it live at the Louvre Art Gallery in the film. You, you just watch it and you think, yeah, oh wow. I mean, a lot of it is down to the mixed filming techniques they did it to make you kind of see the augmented reality and the real life avatar working as they were filming her live at the Louvre. Um, but seeing the way she moves around, all these elements from a 2D painting, a classic, and just like a jar on a table. I don't think there is one in this particular picture. If you know the picture, you know why. But um, you know, it's no longer a painted jar on a table. It's a jar you can move around. Literally taking this classic painting and turning it into a 3D environment, which from one particular angle still looks like the original painting, but from any other angle, you're in the painting. Remarkable stuff, and you see her doing it all in the environment. So it was great stuff. So it was definitely a clip that had a bit of a wow factor for me. Um, okay, I think. Okay, Venture Beast. This is going to be my last one. Another one from this morning. Haptic armband lets you feel the sensation of stroking in VR. I think we're fortunate this particular device is strapped to an arm and not any other part of the anatomy. Virtual reality has a long way to go before it feels like reality. Visuals getting more immersive, but things like sense of touch are missing. And University of Southern California, blah blah blah, are hoping to change that. So I'm leaving it there. We'd be here all night if I go on with all the other feeds there.
Hmm.
So, I think we'll call it a wrap. We're going to be back on air in about half an hour anyway, maybe a little bit before, interviewing Art Blue about something coming up and a little bit about Avatar Fest again too. So we'll be getting set up and coming on air with that. But otherwise, I think we're finished for this part of the day, so to speak. At least I am. That does not necessarily mean James hasn't got some comments. James.
No, no particular comments. We have covered teledildonics before, so
Oh yes, yes, yes,
so that
yes,
last
yes.
story about
Uh,
it's well
yeah,
understood, I think.
it's well understood. There is something weird going on at the moment. Actually, apparently, yeah, somebody. I read today that somebody reckons that they've, it's what do we call them? A patent troll. Apparently, Sansar, Science Base, High Fidelity, Second Life, even that's been around what 15 years,
Mm.
all been taken to court for breaching some fictional patent that describes virtual reality, and it's absurd. It's laughable if it wasn't
Mm.
so tragic that these things can go. But apparently, the same is the case for the word and the description of teledildonics. Somebody somewhere patented it or
Okay.
somewhere way back when, and instead of announcing it at the time, they've apparently been sitting on it until the companies they want to go after, rich and famous. I mean, the Second Life, 15 years old. And somebody's now popping up and saying, "Oh no, you stole my patent
Oh
for
my.
virtual reality." Well, if that was the case, why didn't they? What's taken them 15 years to get round to popping up?
Wow.
It's a it's
Yep.
it's a deliberate con. It's like the American legal system. I don't know. There's all sorts of rats lurking in the corners of law in America. It seems. I'd like to even. I can't even imagine anybody would even get away with taking that to court outside
Well, that's
America.
that's
But
it's the land of opportunity. You see.
yeah, well, yeah, yeah, we welcome criminals of all sorts, so long
Uh,
we just insist you call yourselves businessmen or lawyers or,
oh, your
or
opinion.
accountant or accountants.
We're drifting into opinionating.
Oh yes, no opinionations here. Yeah,
Mm.
sorry about that.
Mm.
Anyway, any other opinions,
No, sir.
James?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay, right. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from the other place. Is it him? Yeah,
Indeed.
goodbye from him or whatever.
Bye bye.
And you say it's goodbye from me, and I say it's goodbye from you, and yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out by next week. We'll see you then. Bye for now.